distinguished guests, Wasim and Shamara, Akram, Dr. Kakenya, Natala, patrons, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Dashak Mehta, President of the LBW Trust, and my fellow directors, welcome to our 11th SCG dinner. It's just awesome to look out over this room tonight, and we at LBW are just so proud that you can come and participate tonight in this event. I'd like to talk about heroes. Heroes come in many forms. We have sporting heroes, such as our guest speaker, Wasim. Our patron, Adam Gilchrist, said about Wasim, "He was a hero to me. He was a tough, unforgiving, yet highly respected opponent. And I'm thrilled now to call him a great friend in retirement." Wasim continues to be a great ambassador for the game, and we at the LBW Trust are privileged to also have wonderful cricketing ambassadors, including Ryan Carters, the founder of Batting for Change, and his teammate Ed Cowan here tonight. One of our Batting for Change ambassadors who cannot be here tonight is Steve O'Keefe. He's busy at present in India. Prior to the first test, Steve had a day off, and he elected to spend that day by going to visit a women's college that we support in Mumbai. We support 1,500 young women in that college, and believe me, those women would not be able to go to university without our support. They come from families that earn less than $2 a day. And we know that because part of our due diligence, part of what we do when we look at how we spend the money that we raise from functions tonight, is that we go through our agents in the various places that we act, and we actually find out about the backgrounds of these young men and women. And these girls come from very poor backgrounds. But when they come to college, they're always immaculate, they're always on time, and they work damn hard because this is their chance to change their destiny. Steve wrote on Facebook after visiting the college, "After meeting these young women, I was moved and inspired, to say the least. Seeing firsthand the difference that everyone in the LBW Trust family is making to these young women's future and the power of education made me realise just how important the work is that we are doing. We are changing lives, and I couldn't be prouder to be part of the Trust." 4 days later, Steve went out and he got 11 wickets in a test match. And it just goes to show that what's good for the heart, what's good for the soul, can actually play its part in improving your own performance. My heroes, of course, include all of you here tonight. Each of you is making a difference to the many young men and women who we are helping gain a tertiary or vocational education in developing cricket-playing countries. I'd like to especially recognise our long-time principal sponsor, Link Market Services, and all the corporate and personal supporters listed in the back of your programs. I'd like to acknowledge and thank A.V. Mohan, founder of Churinda, the charity through Indian Arts in Australia, who recently raised $10,000 for us in a concert that he organised in Melbourne featuring Oscar-winning music superstar A.R. Rahman. Think Slumdog Millionaire. Ron Holmes, who organised tonight, that's who we want to have next year providing the entertainment for this dinner. heroes can be superstars, well-known stars, or they can be just the everyday people who just do something very special and very magnificent. And we have here tonight Lucy Vaux, my daughter, and Sharon Callister, who today ran a race of 45 kilometres in the Blue Mountains in our benefit. And they've raised just over $4,000. And they finished the race. They had to get up at 5 a.m. They finished the race and they made it back down here for the dinner. Every dollar counts, and I assure you that your donations are well spent. You can ask Nick Koch, the founder of Sports Skills for Life Skills at the University of Western Cape, or Pat Price, the founder of the Heartland College in Kathmandu, who are both here tonight. They are both inspiring examples of men for others. It's the motto of St Ignatius College, Riverview, who have tables here tonight and whose young men are also here. Riverview will tomorrow be hosting our Batting for Change 11 against the Macquarie Bank 11. It's a mix of current and former Test stars and also cricket tragics like myself who've had to buy their way into the team. It commences at 3 p.m. and is preceded by Macquarie Sports Foundation Clinic for 150 kids. Both Wassam and Kekenya will be attending, and of course you're all invited. Last year this dinner, I mentioned an interview I'd heard on ABC radio given by journalist Eleanor Hall with an African woman, Kekenya Natala. I was simply stunned when I heard what is a horrific but also a heroic story. What she was prepared to sacrifice to gain an education was shocking, but also profoundly brave and far-sighted. Kekenya knew that to avoid a life of being married at 12, shackled to labouring in the fields, carting water, gathering wood, being constantly subject to violence and oppression, and simply not knowing much about anything, she needed to complete high school and go to university. She needed an education. And of course this aligns with the core belief of the LBW Trust that without an education, young men, and especially women, find it almost impossible to change their lives. Learning does make a better world, and I believe that the LBW Trust, by educating one more person, does change not only that person's life, but their families, their communities, and in due course, their whole culture. At last year's dinner, I expressed how I hoped that the LBW Trust could help Kekenya. Later on that night, a group of women approached me and offered their help. They were all deeply touched by Kekenya's story. They formed in due course the LBW Trust Women for Change. A year on, through their efforts, we are hosting Kekenya here in Australia with the hope of raising enough money to send 26 of her first graduates from high school to university. That hope is close to becoming a reality. As Kekenya would say, we dared to dream. Could Liz Courtney, Kristen Stubbins, Eleanor Hall, Lisa McIntyre and Virginia Briggs, and also Jane Ann Dempsey and Lizzie Garrett please stand up? You women are heroes. and you have made a difference. Over the course of the last week, Kekenya has made presentations to our core sponsors for her visit, Accor and Qantas. She's spoken at events hosted by PwC, Minter Ellison, EY, Macquarie Bank, Credit Suisse. She's spoken at Riverview, at St Andrews College, at ANU, UWS, and the National Press Club. And then she went on to woo the Prime Minister. She has the stamina of a true Maasai woman. I hope by the end of tonight to announce that Kekenya's dream will be achieved and her 26 high school graduates will go to university, earn degrees and be role models for other Maasai women in the future. We still have a few scholarships to fill. Whilst you listen to Kekenya, think about whether you or your table can help. It costs $5,000 per year for 3 years to educate one of these young women. Amongst a table of 10, that is $500 per person. After tax, that works out to be less than $1 per day. Just think in your family that all you have to do is to put a jam jar on your kitchen table and every night put $1 in the jam jar. And that's the only thing you have to do to make a big difference in the world. And we will then send you emails from the young woman. You will receive updates. You will be part of her journey over the next few years and hopefully afterwards. We're also looking for mentors for these young women, and I'm sure tonight there is so much talent in this room that those girls could just receive so much help. And so please think carefully about what I just said. They say it takes a village to raise a child, but what I have learnt from Kekenya, who's trying to change cultures and transform practices, is that you actually need to educate a child to teach a village. Kekenya is a woman who has lit a fire in a Kenyan village, and that fire, I believe, will blaze in time over Africa. She was this week awarded a UNESCO International Women's Day Award for creating an educational revolution for girls in Africa. It's my great honour to introduce one of the most delightful and inspiring person that I have ever met in my life, Dr. Kekenya Nataya.